I have the pleasure to welcome you here at the second awarding session of the CLGE Students Contest 2013. I will start with a short presentation about CLGE. After that, Leif Bjarte Mjøs from Norway, our Vice President and Chair of the Vetting Committee, will explain the different stages of this awarding session, and a very important person, Dieter Seitz, our treasurer, will hand over the awards. We also have Omar Pierre Soubra from Trimble and Professor Dr. Gert Buzik from ESRI as sponsors, and as a partner since 2 years already, we have, of course, Professor Dr. Karl Friedrich Töne, DVW President. Without the support of our partners and sponsors, we couldn't do this, of course. I have the task to explain you CLG in a nutshell. That's not easy, and I will do my very best. Last year, I told you that this chocolate bar was 50. The same for this pop group, as well as for this film character and a bit less known but very important person too. All these people were 50. I said CLG was 52. Very sad news. This year I cannot repeat this. We are 51. But for CLGE, this team is 51. But for CLGE, this is still a very young age. We are still very dynamic. We have even 3 new observing members since last week. And so we are still growing, and you can see the map. The map becomes more and more blue. But this means also that we have a very small profession, because only 100,000 surveyors, that means that 2 in 10,000 people are surveyors in Europe. This requires good cooperation with other professional bodies, such as FIG, DVW, BDVI, but also with Eurogeographics and the Permanent Committee on Cadastre, for instance. The strength of TLGE is that we represent the profession as a whole, not only the private surveyors in the free market, but also civil servants and the full spectrum in between. This is a lot of text. I've learned that young people prefer highlights. We are the leading association of surveyors, and we are busy in all the fields, in all the sectors that you can see here on INTERGEO. But we also think that we have an important task to play in the sustainable development of our societies, and therefore we have a task for the protection of the public and individual interests of European citizens. And when I say Europe, I mean Europe from the Ural to the Atlantic Ocean and from the Polar Circle to the Mediterranean, of course. This is our dynamic team. These are our strategic goals, but again, too much text. Let's say that we want influence, we want visibility, we want renewal, and it was already said this morning, this is a challenge for us. We want renewal, we want young people, and of course, as any association, we want member satisfactions. Here you see what we mean by influence. We don't want European bodies to decide what should be the code of conduct of the European surveyor. We want to do it ourselves. And it was signed in Rome in 2009, and now for the moment all the associations are transposing this in their own regulations. Another example of influence is that we have launched a measurement code for the floor area of buildings, Europe-wide, translated into the European Real Estate Area label. Well, this was launched last year in INTERGEO Hanover and was so successful that it was accepted by the International Property Measurement Standard, not only for Europe, but worldwide. And this is a big success for us. Here you can see this coalition of the IPMS, the International Property Measurement Standard, under the guard of Washington. You know that Washington was not only President of the United States of America, but he was also a surveyor. That's a good sign for us. So, influence and now visibility. Here you can see that we have the House of the European Surveyor in Brussels. what we want to do is to make clear that in any countries that we go, we tell them, when you want, you come to Brussels and you change the flag, and you can have meetings for Cyprus, for instance, for the Republic of Moldova, and this is true also for my colleague and friend, Karl Friedrich Thöne. We can raise the German flag, of course. Here you see that we work hand in hand with the European bodies. Here it is the boss of GSA, the GNSS agency. And thanks to him, we got the European Space Expo for CLGE in Budapest in March of this year. And this is a big project that we launched too. It's called blueparking.eu, and it's a cooperation of all the European surveyors, 100,000 people trying to make an inventory of all the parking places for disabled people. This is not only a project, it's also lobbying, of course. We have launched the Day of the European Surveyor and the Surveyor of the Year. This was the first in Mercator in 2012. Here you see Shihai Theo unveiling Mercator together with Michel, our Secretary General. This year we have Galileo Galilei, unveiled by Michel and John Hohol, who is present here for the FIG. Thank you very much, John. And here you can see that we've signed the Budapest Declaration, in which we ask not only to have a Day of the European Surveyor, but to organize it worldwide for the whole globe by FIG. Here you see the two first, and there's still a lot of place for the other surveyors of the year. Another goal was to motivate young surveyors to become active within their national association and hence within CLGE. Here you can see the first student contest last year together with the CLGE students meeting in INTERGEO. The next students meeting, then it was crowded with a lot of students, will be next year in INTERGEO Berlin. Here you can see the awarding session with the previous winners from Croatia and from Moldova. And of course, as any association, we want that our members are satisfied, and therefore we dynamize our General Assembly with workshops. We have publications in geoinformatics. You can ask for it for free on their website, and you can follow us. Our Twitter man is seated there in front. He's tweeting the whole day. The important point today is that we want to motivate young surveyors not only to become active in our associations, but also to go to the profession, there where there's a need. Because it's not the same in the whole of Europe. In Poland, there are far too many surveyors. In the Western Europe, there are not enough. That's a challenge for CLGE. So that brings us to our students contest, and I will give the mic to, oh no, he has his own mic, to Leif Bjartemius to lead you through this ceremony. Thank you.